Hello. Today we're going to dive into something that so many of us have been through, but have really struggled to put a name to. We're talking about that confusing, in-between space in a romantic connection. The goal here is to walk through this together and hopefully find some clarity and a little more self-compassion along the way.
You know that feeling, right? It's more than friendship. There's a real connection, there's intimacy, there are these moments that feel so significant, but there's just no definition. That uncertainty can be really confusing and honestly pretty stressful. If that's where you are right now, I just want you to know you are definitely not alone in this. So, what do we even call this thing? Well, a term has popped up that really seems to capture it perfectly, the situationship. And just giving this feeling a name can be such a powerful first step. It validates that what you're experiencing is a real, shared thing.
So what is it really? A situationship is basically a connection that doesn't have the clear structure or the explicit promises of a committed relationship. You might have this deep emotional or physical bond, but that big "what are we" question is just kind of hanging in the air, and it often creates this constant low-level hum of anxiety. Okay, so let's break this down. In a situationship, things can feel really ambiguous. Plans might be last minute, and any talk about the future, that's usually off the table. A committed relationship, on the other hand, is really built on a foundation of consistency, reliability, and being able to openly talk about where things are headed. The real difference here is ambiguity versus clarity.
So why does this feel so common all of a sudden? It's really important to see this as more than just a personal problem. It's actually a reflection of bigger shifts in our culture. I mean, think about it. Dating apps give us endless options, and our timelines for big life goals have changed. It makes sense that these undefined connections have become a much more frequent part of the journey.
That traditional straight line from dating to a committed relationship, it's just not as common anymore. There's a saying that I think hits the nail on the head. Modern romance often exists in the gray spaces between clearly defined lines. And right now, it feels like a lot of connections are living in that gray area, where the rules just aren't as clear as they used to be.
All right, so if you find yourself in that gray space, what can you actually do? The goal here isn't to force an outcome one way or another. It's really about finding clarity for yourself. So let's walk through a simple 3-step guide to help you do just that.
But before we dive into the steps, can we just pause for a second? Whatever it is you're feeling right now, anxiety, hope, confusion, frustration, it is all completely valid. Let yourself feel it without judgment. Those feelings are like your internal compass, and they're telling you that something needs your attention.
Okay, here's our path forward. Step 1 is introspection. You have to look inward first and get really honest with yourself. What do I truly want? Step 2 is observation. Start paying close attention to their actions. Do their behaviors actually line up with what you're looking for? Because actions almost always speak louder than words. And then, only after you have that internal clarity, comes step 3, initiating a calm, open conversation.
And remember this, because it's so important. Asking for clarity does not make you demanding or needy. It's actually an act of profound kindness. It's kindness to yourself because it respects your time and your emotional energy. And it's kindness to them because it gives them a chance to be honest with you in return. When it comes down to it, this whole process is about empowerment. It's about taking back your agency and realizing that you have a fundamental say in the kinds of relationships you want to be in.
So let's just recap the big takeaways here. First, what you're going through is real and it's common. Don't let anyone dismiss it. Second, you always have the right to ask for clarity. Third, the most important work always starts with you, with understanding your own needs. And finally, remember that you are the one who gets to define what is right for your own life.
And that brings us to one last thought. The goal isn't always about getting a specific label or a certain outcome. The real goal is clarity. So I want to leave you with this question to think about.